I'm Chris Cooney with Metro South Chamber of Commerce, and in a nutshell, the Chamber applied for a grant from the state of Massachusetts to assist small businesses and nonprofits with their website. We are in the process of engaging and inviting small businesses and nonprofits to become aware of the resources that are available through Tricia and Kerry. These are both professional consultants who work in small business assisting, as well as website development. We know how good they are because we're their client as well. As a chamber, we've used each of them over the years through various connections, and they've helped us as a Chamber of Commerce. So our website is direct relation to that. So we're happy you're here with us today. We hope that you'll just kind of listen and learn and understand how we might be able to help you. Eventually, we're going to choose about 6 to 8 companies who we're going to try to assist in a more meaningful way. But we think that if you're on this call, that you're interested in getting some advice, we're here to listen and figure out how we can best assist you, whether it's a little bit or maybe a lot, depending on what your needs are. So thank you, Tricia, and I'll turn it back to you.
Okay, thank you, Chris. My name is Tricia White. I own a company called T White Creations. I do brand strategy and marketing. And Chris has graciously asked myself and Kerry Aglagub, who I'm going to have introduce herself also, to work on this grant program. Kerry and I just came off of a grant program where we helped to create 6 new websites for businesses in another chamber. So what we'd like to do is be able to do the same thing and give the same type of impact that we were able to give to those businesses to those who apply and get accepted. I'm going to have Kerry introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kerry Aglagub. I own a local web design and digital marketing agency called KMA Web Design. Like I said, like Tricia mentioned, we've worked with Chris and his team on their website and marketing initiatives. And we're looking forward to working with some of you, hopefully. And I'll put Tricia's going to go through more about this opportunity for assistance, and I'll put the application in the chat when the time comes to talk about that. But thank you, everyone, for being here.
Okay, thank you. And I'm just going to share my screen and we're going to begin. So what we're doing today is we are talking about the importance of a website as being part of a technology plan in 2022. And first of what I want to do is talk a little bit about the assistance grant that Chris was talking about, and that is if you own a business within Abington, Avon, Bridgewater, Brockton, Canton, Dighton, East Bridgewater, Easton, Halifax, Hanover, Hanson, Holbrook, Kingston, Norwell, Randolph, Rockland, Sharon, Stoughton, West Bridgewater, and Whitman, that's a mouthful, and are looking for technical assistance, we do have a grant that's available until September of 2022. How do you apply? So Kerry is going to put this tiny URL link into the chat, and what you can do is download the application. Applications really need to be returned by June 1st. We're trying to kind of keep it under a certain guideline. If a few come in after, that's okay, but we really would love to see people, if they are going to apply by June 1. It is a really quick grant application, and if there are certain questions you can't answer, that's okay. You can, our biggest thing is if you can just get it in. What we want to do is to be able to give you an interview. So business owners will be giving an interview. What we will do is we will look at what you use right now for marketing strategies. And during the interview process, we'll probably go through a few marketing tips that you'll be able to take away from our meeting. Businesses will be chosen sometime around June 10th. Projects will range from marketing strategies to rebranding and website design. Business owners must be available to meet regularly to complete the project. This is on a tight time schedule. So we have to have people that are really interested in wanting to get this done, close to immediately, because all technical grant projects we want to have completed by September 1 of this year. So let's start with some basic business facts. Basically, 45% of statistics published in 2019 said that 45% of the businesses out there do not make it past year 5. And it's a really tough number because they really go down. 25% don't make it within the first year. And then after 10 years, only 33% survive, which means you've really got to have something in place. And why do they basically fall apart? It's because of, number one, marketing mishaps. And that means that, you know, people can't be found. It isn't a presence online. They may not have marketing materials or know how to get their message out there. The second thing is lack of financing. And we know as small businesses that most startups can't get a loan for the first 2 years while they're in business. So a lot of times you're using your own money, while you're getting, you know, you're using credit card money. But what's happening is the money that you need in that startup phase a lot of times isn't available. Third is inadequate management or experience. A lot of times people go into certain positions or jobs or take on a new business, not really knowing how to manage a business. And whether you grow slowly or too fast, that can be an issue. And lastly is no business plan. And when we talk about a business plan, it means having something written down on paper, something that you can look at and have the ability to say, oh, I understand how this works. Because what we have to remember is that in our head, it always works. We can always reason with ourselves to know that we can be able to do a project or a business and know that it's going to survive. So why aren't you marketing? Is it because you don't want to build your brand, or you don't want more sales, or you don't want to increase awareness? What I'm kind of doing is using a play on words to all the things that happen when you don't market. So sometimes you have to sit back and say, you know, it's important to market because anytime somebody's looking for my product and service and they can't find me, it's a missed opportunity. So let's talk about the importance of a website. Your website is your business's home online. And that's the first place people go to find out information. They go through a process called know, like, trust. And if they want to get to know you, they want to get to like you and trust you before they're going to try any of your products, before they're going to buy any of your products, and before you can get somebody to advocate for you. So it's a process. Think about it. Someone mentions a brand new restaurant in town. And what's the first thing you do? You go back to their website. You say, oh, this looks really cool. Ah, they're on Facebook. Oh, they have an email newsletter. Oh, I can download a coupon. You know, that's that try stage. And then you go there and you absolutely love it. And then what do? You go back out and you tell more people. So it's a whole process, but you have to remember people are looking at what you're doing. And also by having a website, it builds credibility. It goes back into that know, like, trust again, but it also means that people know that you are online. They know that you are in business. Because what happens when we can't find somebody who's online? What happens is we move on. Well, are they in business still? Are they still open? So it definitely is a credibility factor. And 85% of consumers are going to do an online search before they buy a product or service. So think about it. You know, you're going out, you're searching, probably looking at reviews. So if they can't find you or you can't find them, then once again, it's a missed opportunity. And then what about search engine optimization? That's important for your website because it means that if we can put the proper keywords in place, if we can put the proper tools in place to make sure that when people search for you, you come up, it means that we've given, you know, the back end a boost so that it can help with Google searches. We also want to be able to showcase your expertise. If people can't find you, then they don't know the experience that you have in that industry. I've had people come in and visit me and they don't have a website. And then I find out they're an expert in a certain industry. And I think to myself, it's so sad if people don't know that you're an expert because you're probably the best one to go to. You also have a place for your products and services. During the pandemic, 2021, 2022, a lot of businesses opened and a lot of them were putting basically web shopping carts on their websites. They had products and services that they wanted to sell. So today, even if you're in a service industry, people are suggesting that you have some form of shopping cart. Even if you have just a white paper, that someone may want to download, or maybe you have a certain service that you want people to go through your website to be able to access. So having a shopping cart and making it easy for people to purchase right online without having to call you or visit your store, once again, makes it easier for the consumer. And it also stops the noise. A lot of times people think it's, well, if I have a Facebook page, that's okay. Or if I have an Instagram page, that's okay too. But what you have to remember is we don't have the ability to stop all the other noise that people are seeing while they're on that network. So if I go to Facebook and I find your page, but something distracts me, and next thing you know, I'm looking at stories, or I'm looking up, I'm looking at something that my friend posted. Now all of a sudden, my distraction is, my attention span is not on your one Facebook page anymore. It's somewhere else. So by pulling people over to the website, it allows people to just stay in a place that doesn't have a lot of noise around it, and they're able to learn about your products and services. And it means you exist. If I can't find a website today, I always have to question, are they in business? If I can't find information on the web, then I'm going to doubt whether you're in business. So it's almost like having an address. If you don't have an address, people don't know how to find you. If you don't have a web address, if you don't have a website, people don't know how to find you. And 74% of in-store shoppers search online before they're going to go to the store to shop. So if somebody is looking to see whether you have a product or service, they're always going to check your website first. If they can't find your website, then they're going to find a website that does have it. So now let's understand how people search. So we go through what we call micro moments, and micro moments mean that you want to go somewhere, do something, know something, or buy something. And in those micro moments, people will leave brand loyalty and actually go and buy something else. I'm going to show you this quick video. What I want you to take away from it is, number one, how do you search? Because more than likely, you're going to see moments in this that you search the same way. But then what I want you to do is I want you to flip it and say, the way I do my searches, then how do, if I'm doing searches like this, how do my customers and clients do searches looking for me?
Yeah.
So I think what we see here is that everybody uses search in a really, in all different types of ways. And in that search, I think we do searches all the time, but we never see ourselves as that customer searching for our own products and services. So I challenge all of you, if you do own businesses right now, to at some point grab your smartphone, and if you didn't know the name of your business, go online and just kind of look for that type of service. And are you coming up? Because in that micro moment, can people find you? There we go. So the next thing we want to look at is generational searches. So when we look at how people are buying products and services, we're now looking at it going, if you look at this stream through the center, which is people within the ages of 25 and 34, which are lower millennials and Gen Zs, we begin to see how they use social media, how they use social networks, how they purchase. And, you know, I would kind of look at it and say the two biggest ones are probably your millennial region. But there are still people that are in older generations that are using search. Look across at search products
The
online.
login for the self-service?
No, I don't.
Okay, what is your last name?
Annie.
So if you look across here at the search products online via social networks, if you notice, a lot of people are looking at those pieces. So even though we know we have to have a social media presence, we also know that at the end of the day, that social media presence wants to lead us back out to a website. So let's look at how Google searches for products and services. So if I put in restaurants in Brockton, Mass, first thing I want you to see is how many different variations they're going to give me. So we have a lot of choices before we've even started our search. Once I get the search out there, what I want you to see is how big the search is. So when I do restaurants in Brockton, Mass, 3 million results come up from that. So even though it's 3 million results, I want to make sure that I'm coming up near the top. So one of the first things you can look at is this is called Google Maps. And Google Maps is created when you actually have a Google business profile. We're going to talk a little bit about that later, but this will come up. There'll be 3 of them. You can always click on more places, but the top 3 will rotate in Google. But one thing I want you to look at, and that is the number of reviews that they have. And companies that have a large number of reviews have a better chance of showing up more often, because it means that if you have 4.7 out of 5 stars and you have 605 reviews, obviously it's a good restaurant. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that number 1, you have the ability to be placed in the Google Maps, but that also you're using reviews. As we slide down the search, the next thing you will begin to see is actually what we call organic results. So we see TripAdvisor comes up, but then we have this section of what I call tempting questions, because if you're not finding what you're looking for, maybe you should be looking at it a little bit differently. So these are called featured snippets. And if we click on a featured snippet, what will happen is it will drop down and we can learn something about what is there. So for this search, it claims that honey hot wing chicken tenderloins are, you know, the most popular menu item in Brockton. So what we do call this, though, is a zero search. That means that someone has asked a question, the answer is right here. It doesn't necessarily mean that I have to click on the link. So it's something to think about for your website, is having some form of questions. Because are there people out there that are asking questions on a regular basis about your products or services? And if they are, an FAQ page is a great thing to have on your website, because you have the ability to possibly show up here. And then as we get down, now you see other options. They're showing you takeout, delivery, pictures now, but then they're asking you seafood restaurants in Brockton, restaurants near Westgate, restaurants in Braintree. They're actually pulling you outside of the region. But the reason why they do that is because 95% of the people who do a Google search are going to leave the first page because they've either found what they're looking for or they've been tempted by a few of these. And that means that they're asking you to do another search versus actually going in and, you know, and going into a second and third page. Do people go beyond the first page? Of course they do, especially if they can't find what they're looking for. But when you're looking in a local search, your goal should be to come up on the first page. And then if I take Italian Kitchens of Brockton and I just put in the name of the company, what I want to see is how much real estate do they own on a Google search. So on the first page, they have their website. Here is that Google business profile. And what's good about that is that's the first thing that comes up on a mobile device. So if I was looking for the Italian Kitchen of Brockton on my mobile device, and this is the first thing that comes up, it gives me a lot of call to action options. Hey, do I want to go to the website? Do I need directions to get there? Do I want to call? I can see all the Google reviews. I can see the times and the locations of where they are. But then once I go further down, you're going to see them here in TripAdvisor, Yelp. And if I go further down the page, you're going to see more of them probably sitting on Facebook, Instagram, and all the different directories that they're listed in. And this is that search engine result page. So when we look at this, we say, okay, in most search engine result pages, what you're going to see is ads at the top. So because there were no Brockton restaurants that were taking out any ads, we didn't see any. But if you are looking for something like wedding venues, then this is your ad section. Then we go down, here is that maps or your Google business profile area. Oh, sorry about that. And then this is your organic. So this is where people will be able to find you if the keywords and everything that they're searching for are related to some page on your website. So branding you and your business. First is your personal brand. And it's really important to make sure that you have a really good headshot. Not that these aren't any good, but but these are our headshots. This is our personal brand. It's like your business brand is your logo, but your personal brand is a good headshot. And when you're using your good headshot, you need to take that and you need to bring it across all of your networks. And that means there should be a picture of you on your website. If you use LinkedIn, and you should use LinkedIn, it should be on your LinkedIn page. It should be on any personal profile that you have on the web, so that it makes it easy for people to find you. I always say that one of my biggest frustrations as a marketing person is when I find somebody's account on LinkedIn and maybe I'm looking for them to, to tag them in a post on Facebook, and I can't find them because there's a butterfly on their personal profile. So you want to really, when you're looking at being in business, your personal brand is going to take you very far. So having a good headshot and easy recognition makes it a lot easier for people to find you. And also it presents value. It's transparent so that people can see what you look like. There's clarity because now they know what you stand for. Because as a personal brand, if people like our personal brand, they're going to follow us on our business brand. And what we want to do in our brand is make sure that people know about us, they know about the knowledge and the experience that we have, and then we go out and we E&E. We educate people and we entertain them. So when you're using LinkedIn, get that good profile picture. And it doesn't have to be anything that is, you don't have to have a white background if you don't need it, but you can have that look where, standing out in front of the restaurant and then having a picture of the restaurant inside. So taking advantage of not only having your brand, but also selling the brand of who you may work for or what you may own. Going in and making sure that you fill these out. LinkedIn is a very, very important business network. This is where we keep all of our contacts, because today a business card has a lifespan of about 24 hours. And if I can't figure out what to do with your business card at the end of 24 hours, then more than likely I'm going to put it in a drawer somewhere. And then at the end of 6 months, I'm going to pull it out and go, I have absolutely no idea where I met this person. So by using LinkedIn, I use it as my, a Rolodex, almost like that place where I can keep all my business contacts. So when somebody asks me, hey, do you know of an accountant? Do you know of a lawyer? Do you know of a marketing person? Do you know where I can buy a cute home good gift? I can go into my LinkedIn contacts and I can find that information right on my smartphone. And for businesses, we look at business logos. So we look at Metro South. Everything that Metro South does has their logo, it has their brand on it. Go to Barrett's Ale House. Barrett's Ale House does the same thing. That brand is seen everywhere, and it's taken across all of the business networks. So Facebook business page, Facebook Instagram page, anything that has a business profile attached to it, you should be using a good quality, clear logo that fits into a circle or whatever it is. Like on social media, I know we use everything square and everything seems to fit into a circle, but you've got to make sure that your logo looks good and it fits into all the places necessary. And then what we do is we look at brand consistency. So if you look at what Back Bay Bagel has done on their website, we can see clear picture of their logos. when we look at using the same pictures, when I'm on their website, I can go over to their Facebook and I still have that same feel. I have that feel like I'm back in their website again. I should be able to find up-to-date information that they're posting about their products and services. Same with Instagram. When you get up to Instagram, they've filled out all the information necessary so that you know when they're open, where they're located. And when you go down on their feed, they have great pictures of all the bagels that they have. So when we look at brand consistency, we look at messaging, we look at design, we look at the logo. So making sure that you have all of those things in place so that when people go from network to network, they can easily go across recognizing that this is you. So know your brand identity. One of the most important things you've got to figure out is identify your target market, because all of us have different target markets and they fall within niches. And that is, you've got to identify, is it a Gen Z? Is it a millennial? Is it a Gen X? Is it baby boomers? Is it women between the ages of 30 and 45? You have to identify who are those people that are coming in and buying your products and services. So what it means is creating some form of customer profile, identifying who they are. You know, think of the last 10 people who came in and bought a product from you, or think about the next 10 people who may walk in and buy a product from you. What do they look like? You know, where do they live? What type of industry do they work in? You know, all of those different questions, because somewhere around all of those questions comes commonality. And that means that people can look at it and say, ah, all right, now I get it. These are the people that I need to target. And define your mission, your values, and your advantages. People want to know, why are you different? What is your unique selling proposition that's going to get someone to come into your shop versus your competition's? And build your brand identity. Building a brand is a process, and it can take anywhere from 18 to 36 months to really get your brand out there and for people to recognize it more, you know, in more of a familiar fashion. And then integrate your brand through a lot of different places. You know, when we have our website, that's the first place, but then anytime we do something, whether it's a mailing, whether it's an event, you know, all your social networks, making sure that your brand is on there, your colors are there, and that your message is the same. So important aspects in web design. So one of the projects that we did work on, Carrie and I, was the denim exchange. And this was part of the grant process. And one of the things that we realized was we needed some really good professional pictures done for the website, because it needed to talk about the products and services that were there. So what we decided was denim exchange was an older, you know, it was an older demographic that was running it, and not a lot of people knew where it was. And when you went into the store, you realized, oh my God, this place is gorgeous. And we talked about who were their customers. And they say, you know, our customers are the same age as the people that work here. And what we wanted to do is try and put a spin on it with a younger generation and a younger demographic. And that's what we did with some of the pictures, so that what we were trying to do was make it visually appealing. Secondly, we did a lot of content creation. We worked on keywords. How are people going to find them? How can we describe them? So using words like artisan gift shop, unique gift ideas, homemade, one of a kind, beautiful home decor. When you look at a lot of the keywords that we used, these are keywords that can define a lot of different gift shops, but we want to make sure that when people were looking for gift shops in that region, that they had the ability to come up just as well as anybody else. And lastly, you need some form of search engine optimization professionality into it. It needs to be, you need to have somebody to look at not just the front end, which looks pretty and has words on it, but to actually look in the back end to make sure that there are keywords, that you have the ability to come up on the first page. So when we type in denim exchange now, they're coming up on the first page. You can see their website, their Facebook page, their YouTube page. They've completely filled in their Google business profile. So they have their logo on there. They have a picture of what it looks like. People can identify how to get there. And those call to actions, when you pull it up on a smartphone, website, directions, call. So it makes it really easy for people to find the place, to get there. And if they have any questions, they can call. So when we talk about search engine optimization, basically what it is it's an art and a science of getting your business to come up on the first page in those organic sections that we were looking at. So we always know that ads are going to come up first, maps will come up second, but we want to make sure that you have the ability to come up in the organic section, which has about 10 spaces on it. So if we can get you to come up there in any of those organic searches, it means you have the ability to be found in a local search. It's also going to help because it's going to increase your sales if they can find you. It's going to also generate leads, and it's going to improve your brand awareness. So Carrie, I'm going to have you do the next part.
Yep. So why is SEO important for businesses? So SEO is one of the only online marketing channels that when set up correctly can pay dividends over time. So if you provide a solid piece of content that deserves to rank for certain keywords, your traffic can snowball over time. And search engines are getting smarter, but they still need our help. So we need to optimize our websites so that we can deliver better information to search engines and so that the websites can be properly indexed and displayed in search results. And so to simplify the concept of SEO, we like to break it down into 4 pillars. So these include technical SEO, content, on-site optimization, and off-site SEO. So we'll explore each of these in a little bit of detail. So the first pillar is technical SEO. And this is something typically your web developer would work on. So technical SEO refers to website and server optimizations that help search engines crawl and index your site more effectively. So some of the things that make up technical SEO are your XML sitemap, and that's just a list of all the pages on your website. And it's in an easy format for search engines like Google to crawl and index and ultimately show in search results. Security is another big one. So your site needs to be secure, and that's the little padlock that you see in the address bar. So that's your, a kind of a behind the scenes thing. Your SSL certificate is making your site secure. Also, responsiveness is another important factor for SEO, and just one of the ranking factors that Google uses to kind of to raise your profile in search results. Responsiveness you can think of as just mobile friendliness. So your website will look good and work well on all devices, whether it be mobile, desktop, tablet, or even large screens. And then the last one is speed. So Google loves fast websites. With over 60% of searches coming from mobile devices, it's really important that your site is performing well on all devices, and including mobile phones. And next, the next pillar we talk about that makes up SEO is content. And content has always been the backbone of SEO. So when I talk about content, I'm talking about text, images, video, PDFs, and much, much more. So the things that are important in generating kind of quality content is, the first one is quality, unique, well-written content that provides value to visitors. Next is keywords. So this is what Trisha was talking about. So you want to include phrases to help you gain exposure in search results. So these are the phrases, like if you didn't know what you were searching, if you weren't searching for your business name, maybe the services you offer, like plumber in Brockton, Mass, or things like that. recency. So that's fresh new content, and search engines love that. And a great way to add new content is adding a blog to your website, or just making sure, you know, you're doing a good job making sure the website reflects your business and all your current offerings. Navigation. So this is just the logical information flow that makes, you know, the website easy for users to basically get at the content they're looking for. So just a logical, you know, navigation is great for SEO. And then last, usability. So the site needs to be easy to use and function in a way that a visitor expects. So that's what we mean when we talk about usability. And then, well, the next thing to talk about is on-site SEO. So when we talk about on-site SEO, we're talking about the primary elements on a website that can be optimized or improved for users and search engines. And these include page titles and meta descriptions. So here's an example. This is my website, and it's, Trisha mentioned this also, kind of the behind the scenes fields that help you ultimately show up in search results. So on the left, you see kind of the fields on the back end of the website. And, you know, this is using an SEO plugin on a, you know, my WordPress site. And ultimately it's helping me, you know, take up plenty of real estate in search results and giving Google more information. And another way to optimize, you know, your website is through page headings. So these are, Google is a machine. So you need to give it machine readable text, ideally. So the headings help Google know what's important on your site. So using kind of a logical hierarchy of information is important. And then this is an example of offsite SEO. So links from other websites, links from Google Maps, and social platforms. So SEO, it's not just about your website. It's about your website's trust and authority on the internet. So you could have the best pizza restaurant in Massachusetts, but Google isn't going to trust the website and display it in search results until it hears an online echo that you are indeed the best. And so these are these links from these other places that are helping Google kind of verify that you are a legitimate business. And then next we talk about tools, some of the marketing tools that we can help drive traffic to our website. And here is a chart of some of the most popular tools. And you'll see website articles or blog posts, both short and long, are high on the list. Videos, infographics, virtual events, webinars, online courses, website articles, case studies, white papers, in-person events, podcasts, live streaming, research reports, print magazines, and books. So these are all great ways to drive traffic to your website and add more content to your website. And then search engines and directories. So Google, Yahoo, Bing, and Alignable. These are the search engines and business directories where you need to have visibility. And having your business listed in multiple local directories increases your visibility online and overall your brand credibility. And it signals to search engines that your business is trusted and legitimate. And then groups and organizations. So network groups are a great way to meet new prospects, build business relationships, market your products and services. So chambers, BNI, other groups like women's groups are a great way to connect with other businesses. And social media. So social media allows you to reach, nurture, and engage with your target audience. And businesses can use social media to generate brand awareness, leads, sales, and revenue. And it's important to set up at minimum and ideally engage or set up your profiles at minimum, but ideally engage with your audience through these platforms. So you'd want to find out which platforms your target audience would be visiting and be part of, and then set up at least two or three of these social platforms. And then email marketing. So these are two of the big players in email marketing, Constant Contact and MailChimp. So email marketing allows you to build relationships with your leads and customers. It's an opportunity to speak directly to them in their inbox at a time that's convenient for them. And coupled with the right messaging, it can be one of your most impactful marketing channels. So you don't want to delay on this one. It's important to start collecting email addresses and phone numbers, which we'll talk about next, so you can stay in touch and nurture your customer base. And then SMS marketing. So this is text messaging marketing. And the average person checks their phone 344 times a day. And 71% of people say they check their phones within 10 minutes of getting out of bed. So the point is, people have their phones handy and they're ready to use them to find out information. And just in general, the open rates for text messaging marketing surpasses email and at 98% versus just 20% for email. So we're seeing some industries really taking advantage of this and using text messages for text reminders about appointments or reservations. So if you're collecting email, there's no reason not to collect phone numbers too. And then paid advertising. So there's Facebook ads and Google ads, which are the leading pay-per-click ad platforms. They're very different platforms with unique audiences and user bases. Google Ads is best for brands, products, and services that people are actively searching for, like accountant near me. Whereas Facebook ads are great for advertising products, services, events to a particular audience that isn't necessarily searching for something, but likely to be interested in what you're offering. And Facebook ads are great for short-term ads. With Google ads, it's worth investing at least a few months to see some results with that. And both of them have step-by-step screens that kind of walk you through the process of setting up ads. So if you need leads, you likely should be putting some money into some paid ads. And then reviews. So online reviews have increasingly become the front to your digital reputation. They help you get noticed, they lead to more sales, and they also improve search engine rankings. They also can inform your business and convince customers to pick up the phone and call you. So Google, Yelp, Facebook are all places where your customers could be leaving reviews. And so now we'll transition over to kind of the question and answer period. So feel free to kind of, how do we want to handle questions? Kind of, anyone have a question?
was going to say, if people want to put them in the chat, or we can't see, but I mean, even if you wanted to just come off of mute, and if you had a question, we would love to answer it. Anyone have a question? Okay, actually, we have one right here. Let's see. All right, we rushed our application. Can we, because we thought it was due, can we revise it? It's totally up to you. You're always gonna, when you send in your application, what we're doing is trying to kind of get it into a database of those people who apply. We're going to be interviewing everybody that sends in an application. So whatever information you have beyond that, we're gonna get more information when we interview you versus probably what's going to come in on the application. So we don't mind if the application is a little vague, because we're going to get to talk to you anyway. If you want to resubmit it, you are more than welcome to. We're just trying to make it easy for you so that you don't have to do it again. And Carrie put the link back in again. And if you lose it and you can't find it, feel free to reach out to Metro South Chamber also, because they can send you the link so that you can apply. If you know any other businesses too, you know, if you're sitting here and you're thinking, God, I know a few businesses that could probably use this, please feel free to pass the link along. You know, we would love to have, you know, a number of people apply.
That's a great point, Tricia. You know, we at the Chamber applied for these funds from the state of Massachusetts as part of the Recovery Act. And what we're trying to do is meet with every business that's interested in assistance, whether that's through attending workshops, one-on-one sessions, and or the development and improvement of websites and companies' websites that are already existing. That's really our priority. So anybody who's on this call or anybody you know who might need assistance, again, this is free. It's being funded in very large part by the state. The private business organization, Chamber of Commerce, is also funding my time and resources put into this. But the point is that anyone on this call should sit down with Carrie and Tricia and at least understand, have them listen to you and then understand what their suggestions are, because it's free. There's no cost. That won't be the case after this grant is over. Obviously, this is an opportunity to talk with professionals about your business and about how you might be able to improve your business through online and marketing initiatives. So I just want to encourage anybody, whether you have questions now or later, at the very least sit down with both of them, and either through Zoom or in person, whatever is best, once you work that out. And again, spread the word. Thank you.
And also, mine and Carrie's contact information is on the application. You can return it to either one of us. So if you want to send it to both of us, you can. And if you have any questions too, feel free to reach out to us, because we're here to answer questions that you have about marketing or your website. Okay, any other questions?
Are you, does that conclude your presentation? Because I would, it does. Okay. So I would just suggest, are there commonly asked questions that you hear, Tricia or Carrie, from businesses that are looking to improve their website? Is there a particular format that is better than another that you've seen? Just things like that.
Yeah, I can answer that one. That's a question I get asked a lot. Which platform is best for my website? It usually depends on what you need the website to do. Some of the platforms that I like are WordPress, Wix, and Squarespace. So they all have their advantages and disadvantages. WordPress is probably, you know, if you're a business that's established or you know you're growing at a pretty good pace, that's usually the way to go, because it's very flexible design and feature wise. For businesses just starting out, I think Wix works great, and Squarespace is probably even simpler, but Wix may be a little more flexible. So they're all good platforms, frankly. I've been doing this a long time, and kind of seen the evolution of websites and the different platforms. So I mean, there's usually always something more you can do. I like to talk about Google My Business and making sure you claim and verify your Google profile. That's really important for local businesses and coming up in local search. So if you take away one thing from this call, hopefully it's that. Make sure you can claim your Google business profile. And that's something we can help you with too. If we sit down and meet with you and determine, that's what needs to be done.
Is it difficult to do, or is it a simple thing? I know it's been talked about a lot, go claim your Google. What does that mean? And is it a long process?
It depends. I've had clients who say, we can't do this, just because they don't know where to start. So, but generally, I think it's pretty, on the whole, as far as the whole gamut of things you can do, it's fairly straightforward.
It sounds like, from what I've seen, it's a matter of recording who owns the business and where you're located, and just kind of confirming that is your space in the internet space. And that also gives you points towards SEO, right? Search engine optimization.
Yeah, it's Trisha showed it. You can come up in that local maps pack, that three business listing right under those ads, the paid ads. So it's really prime real estate, and yeah, and then you can start getting reviews but you need to claim it.
So you bring it up often. Is that because people don't claim it? Is that because the vast majority of businesses haven't claimed it? Is that why you bring it up quite often?
A lot of them haven't. Yeah.
And I think sometimes what happens too, Chris, is people have all different email addresses. So they have Yahoo, they have Verizon, they have all different ones. And the big thing that you have to remember is you need a Gmail email address in order to open. Like I always say, a Gmail email address is what is going to be the key to unlock all of the Google tools that are out there. And Google My Business is just one of them. So if you have a Yahoo account and you're trying to put it in to try and claim that space, and you don't understand that, oh, I have to get a Gmail account. You don't have to use that Gmail account, but that's the key to open up all the tools. And some of the other tools that people use on a regular basis, not only, the Google My Business, but you will see it in SEO with Kerry. It's Google Analytics, the Search Console. If you want to be able to access Google Docs or Excel or any of those, everything is done through a Gmail. So that's probably the first thing I would tell people is just get a Gmail so that you can open the account, and then it becomes easier to be able to claim it.
Okay, that's helpful, because I think a lot of folks a little older than me had AOL accounts, right? Or some of the free accounts. And then, my generation seems to have the Yahoo accounts, and now the younger people seem to have a Gmail. And I see some people who are a little more savvy creating Gmail accounts because they understand the value that's there versus the others we just mentioned. So, but I think that's important to note, because it makes a value proposition to opening that account. A lot of us don't want to check multiple email accounts, but if there's more value in it, then maybe there's a reason to go ahead and create that Gmail account so you can access the Google My Business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Great. Well, thank you. So once again, I would encourage everyone to, right now, these folks are being compensated by the state through the chamber, and they are just wonderful resources. Oftentimes I know small businesses, don't know where to start. So they don't want to bring somebody professional in to start with help unless they know where they're going. This is an opportunity to get some free help and to have folks listen to you and then offer some suggestions. So I encourage you to take this opportunity as small businesses or people looking to open a business, or people that have sites that are wondering, gee, should my site be different or better, to reach out to Trisha and Kerry and us, and we will bring you as far as we can, as far as the grant will bring us. And then you can kind of take it from there. But I applaud you for being on the call today and participating in this way. Thank you.
Hopefully we'll see applications from everybody that's on here today. And
Be
remember
great.
too, when we meet with you, we're going to sit down, we're going to walk through everything that you do. We're going to listen to what some of your needs are, even if they're needs that you see in the future. You know, sometimes when we meet with people, they'll say, you know, in the future, I want to be able to add, you know, a shopping cart, or what are the best ways that I can continue to grow this? So we look at all different types of scenarios, and what we want to do is fit you into the best one that is going to work for you, and that it helps, you know, grow where you are. And there's no, I mean, even if you do have a website that you think is working, maybe we help you with some SEO, maybe we help with marketing strategy. Marketing strategies are a big thing that people say all the time. You know, I don't have time to be on social media. I don't have time for these things. And part of it is if we can give you a strategy and teach you how easy it can be, basically it's making a date with yourself and sitting down and kind of creating something. But we can help you with strategies that will help you get information out to your customers and clients. And we'll do it in an easy fashion, because once you understand how to do it, it becomes a lot easier. You know, we always say we don't know what we don't know, but if we can help you in any of those areas, what we want to do is kind of bring you out of this with some new skills and some new ideas and some new technology.
Well said. There's some chats down below. Are those all items that you put in, Carrie?
Just links to the application. And I think I'm seeing them all. Let me know if I'm.
Okay, great.
And there is, someone did ask here, will this be recorded to be sent out to participants that they missed part of it? Yes, it will be sent out and it will be available. So are you guys going to put it on the website? Or
Yes,
just if people
we'll post it to our metrosouthchamber.com website in addition, probably on our YouTube account, and we'll probably send it out to the 800 or so, actually it's close to 1,000 people who have participated in our COVID recovery and resource calls over the last 2 years. So when it hits there, there'll probably be more interest, I imagine. So both of you guys should be aware of that. And the folks that are on the call, I would get in your application or your inquiries now, or at least get a scheduled appointment with these folks before we send it out to everyone. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chris, for having us. Truly appreciate everybody's time today.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. We'll see you soon.
Bye.